Hello, guys, and welcome to the SA DPC. You're here for your daily helping of South American Dota, and we do have two matches today, much like yesterday, but this time it was planned. The first match of the day is Tempest versus Infamous, and this will determine if Tempest can keep themselves the middle of pack team, and if Infamous can also, more importantly, preserve their chances of going to that major. They need every single win, and also pray for Beast Coast and Thunder to fall here. So let's see what happens. My wonderful panel, Sexy Fat, RDO. Thank you for joining me again, guys. RDO, I knew you'd be back. I told you.
What's up? Long time no see, my friend.
Yeah, long time no see indeed. Sexy Fat, long time no see for you too. Thank you for being back on this panel.
I appreciate for being here, man. Thanks.
Very nice. It's a good vibe today. It's a good vibe. So let's talk about the teams here. We saw it was a really strong start of the season, RDO, and then they dropped one or two games, and now they're actually in peril of potentially losing that major slot. As you can see here, they're the 3-2, right? They need those every single win, and then probably pray that Thunder Awaken beats Beast Coast, or pray that Beast Coast beats Thunder Awaken. What do you think are the chances against Tempest? Because Tempest has been very inconsistent this season. Do you think it should be an easy win for Infamous?
I feel like it's all about drafting, because Infamous is a very strong team, but sometimes they make some weird drafts around Parker, and it's not how the meta is going right now, with a heavy carry and 4 heroes doing whatever they want. And maybe if they get a good draft, they're going to get an easy win, but if not, it's going to be just like Infinity games. It's going to be fully random.
That is what Infinity feels like very often. Sexy Fat, did you get a chance at all to watch the Thunder Awaken Infamous games where Infamous kind of got stomped?
Yeah, I did watch. If I recall, I was casting this game, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I did watch, indeed.
Yeah. What did you think of the drafts there for Infamous? Because a lot of people were talking about how they didn't seem as sharp as they usually are.
I think they're just kind of confused on what's the meta right now. I think it could be what happened to them. Like they were moving a lot. They did not know what was exactly on meta, but I think all teams had time and more than enough time to realize what's in the meta and what's good and what they should be picking. I think it's something they're gonna fix for today, most likely.
Okay. So you're confident that the drafting is going to be like pretty solid today against Tempest.
I believe so.
Okay. RDO, I see you smiling. What is that smile for?
I mean, SA teams, they either gonna make a very good draft or they gonna make some ultimate garbage, and yeah. So
Okay.
I hope it goes to the very good draft.
Sure. What about Tempest? What have you seen for Tempest? Because they're also a pretty unique team when it comes to drafting. Not infinity levels of unique, but also, they try their own meta. They've been copying a lot of other regions more so than the South American style. How have you felt about their drafts personally?
So because I watch Epulze gaming, I know that the Tempest, they like to pick units for Drakel and pick like a treant for either a treant or Phoenix for the MJZ, so he can like extend the game by playing the third wave and never letting the enemies take towers. And when they feel ready with the OP Vlads, they just go as 4 or 5 and win team fights. So I actually think this is pretty good against Infamous playstyle, because Infamous, they like to give Parker a lot of farm, and if Drakel has a good laning stage, she can actually make Parker go jungle pretty soon into the game. So I'm actually hyped for this.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad that you mentioned this, because RDO, an avid Epulze game watcher, got some of this information from an interview we did with Wu Dota, where he explained the strategy to us. Because why not? Of course, you reveal all your strats during an interview. That's the way to go. What are the carries to deal with this, RDO, in your opinion? Like, what can they pick up for Parker to prevent being kicked out of lane? Well, something that he can also play it.
CK, like if they want to be ultimate laning phase, they go for either CK, Monkey King, or Bruce. Like these 3 carries are pretty good against Drakel's playstyle, and all of them want to sit in the lane, win the lane, and just AFK farm. Don't let the enemy take her tower.
I've seen BP in every other region. Zero. What do you think is the reason for that, Sexy Fat? Are they just late on the uptake?
Really, I think for whole life, people just love it. Greedy hard carries here in SA, right? We see
RDO?
these early heroes and people just don't like it. I think the hard carry players.
I kind of agree with Sexifet, but I think nobody's speaking the bristleback because they don't know yet that the hero is broken. So it's
Okay.
just a thing that nobody actually doing SA yet.
If there is a team to try it, though, I would honestly imagine it to be Tempest. They've been really the I wouldn't necessarily say innovative, but they're the team that's copying the most things out of the other regions. So maybe we see it here. That'd be very interesting. They have banned the Beastmaster, so we'll see RDO if you're right, and they will continue to go for Zoo and the offlane here, perhaps forcing it. I think they're sweet time though. They want to make it equal reserve time here, as Infamous came late to the lobby, and they got a level 1 penalty. As per usual.
All right.
What is this first pick? What
I don't
part
know.
would possibly
Just
take
pick
this
Trint. Just pick Trint if you don't know what to pick. Nice.
Okay, the Visage. Theories as to why this took so long. Sexy Fat, any ideas? Why would you take so long to just pick the Visage?
I don't know. They probably were thinking if they needed or not to secure the Visage for them. Because as Ardell said, they really like these two heroes.
Oh my. All right. This is the time that Tempest picks Abaddon and screw up Infamous idea of winning the game because they just want to give a Sin King a good lane so he gets an early blink and kill everyone in map with Mirana. But if enemies have a save like Abaddon, both of the picks are like countered.
It's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, and it's a good 4-man hero because Abaddon will either sit behind the Visage or behind the aggressive mid laner that Tempest usually picks.
Right. So what do you think of... Oh, actually, I was going to ask you a different question, but it's still valid here with a Rubik. What are your thoughts on 8th picking a support here, RDO? Do you think it's fine because you protect the Visage, or do you feel like it's a waste of a pick?
I think it's good if the support is a high impact hero like the Abaddon idea. I'm not sure about the Rubik because I don't know. They usually play the Visage as offlane, and Visage plus Rubik as a lane pair doesn't seem that good for me, so I don't really like the Rubik pick.
What about you, Sexy Fat?
Yeah, I'm quite confused too. You usually don't see two ranged with at the same lane. Plus Visage and Rubik doesn't seem really that good. Most likely this Visage can go support.
Oh, so you're thinking like Visage 5, Rubik 4?
I think it's one of the options here on the table.
Interesting. That seems worse to me.
Because if they pick an aggressive lane on the safe lane, this Visage is gonna have no game. That's what Rubik's gonna do. Like, lift one time and then 30 seconds cooldown.
RDO, it seems like one team is listening to you, as Infamous immediately banned the Abaddon. They know exactly what counters them.
We know that Tempest is sometimes weird on drafts, right?
Right?
They played CK4 if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, that was terrible.
Yes. Maybe they're on the same idea. Oh my god, I remember it was Visage CK lane and they lost to Juggernaut in like 20 minutes.
Okay, that's true. Maybe I think forced movement is OP with Visage, and nobody knows why, but maybe that's why. You know, they just think telekinesis, 30-second cooldown is worth it because you're moving someone back.
I don't know. I feel like the Visage flex because they're not banning like Juggernaut, so they ban the TA Parker, and they just ban average heroes. Or maybe the Visage can also do mid because they're banning Kunkka, right?
It could be. Kunkka is generally good against Visage too, though the lane is meh. Do you find Tempest to be a little bit like Infinity in that sense, RDO? Like, first game you can't really trust what they're doing. Second game it feels like they're playing real Dota.
I don't know. I don't think this actually exists because imagine if you're the team that loses the first game and they're like, all right, guys, it's first game. Let's try something new. I don't think this really happens. They're just like they're inconsistent.
Papita or Mariano now famously said the first game is played with the male member. That was the way he said it. So he pioneered that phrase, man. I think he's got you beat. There's the Monkey King ban as well. Does this indicate perhaps offlane visage? Sexy Fat, is it making doubting? Is it making you doubt it?
No, probably it's gonna be offlane.
You dread it though. You don't want it to be offlane. What if you were playing this visage? What would you be telling your team?
Guys, go next.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's amazing. What heroes can you play to like buff it up? Could they run a Rubik 5 perhaps, and then they run a 4 of some other kind here?
I don't know about 5. I mean, I already seen Rubik 5, but the results were not good. But I already seen Rubik mid, and at some games it could be really good. So they could pick like a flex for them. This Rubik, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Wu has played it, but right. And they go, you know what's perfect against instant stuns? Puck. That's genius against Rubik. Hero seems very strong right now. A lot of people are trying it in literally every single draft. RDO, are you a Puck believer right now?
Yes, you don't remember when we talked about
yeah.
Puck before?
That's
I
true.
was
you
like,
actually
why
told me.
why is nobody picking Puck in SA? This hero is so broken.
That is actually true. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So you think it fits in any draft, even if there's like a Rubik or a Shaman or a line?
Yes, because the Puck's gonna get like a 12 minutes Witchblade and GG. There's nothing you can do besides feeding if you have less than 1.5k HP.
What? Okay, now I'm gonna ask you, Sexy Fat. Why Ember over Void Spirit?
I know. As a Puck player, I feel if I play Ember Spirit against Ember or Void Spirit, doesn't matter. I'll be countering both of them. It's just about like the mid laner player feels better with, and probably the Sebas feels better playing Ember.
Really? You think it's equal, Void Spirit and Ember?
I mean, the Void Spirit has the more of a burst damage. He can be on top of Puck very easily, but it's just a matter of gaining experience on playing against this hero, I believe.
Okay, alright, fair enough. And they also picked default carry number 5, Juggernaut, keeping the Visage Flex alive as a potential 5 here. Or else they last pick a 5. RDO, is this a Juggernaut game? Is it ever not a Juggernaut game?
I feel like they picked the Juggernaut, so Infamous don't pick the Juggernaut on 18.
Oh, because it's a good Juggernaut pick for them.
Yes, it's the Jug against Visage incident we've seen before.
I love incident. That's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
But about the Ember pick, I feel like they picked the Ember because Ember will rush BKB before Maelstrom, and there's nothing Infamous Draft can do about it. But if they go for Void Spirit's gonna get an use, and even though he has use, he's gonna get stunned into arrow and die. So I kind of prefer the Ember in this situation.
Okay, I love that, because I was also questioning it, because Sebas does love the Void Spirit, so I was very surprised by this. Then this Van by Parker, hello. Is that a counter to Jug, I suppose? I mean, is the lane against Visage good? I would suppose he loses it, right?
I believe
know.
both farms.
Yeah.
He farms, Sexy Fat, you said?
Yeah, both probably gonna farm.
Okay. So you don't disturb him enough. Even with the God tier Rubik? Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, no, doesn't change. But I'm more inclined right now as to see a Visage 5. Plus, I think Tempest really need a initiation hero, Linkstone hero.
What are you thinking then, Sexy Fat, for their offlane? What would you like to see?
That's the I would ask Sand King against this Puck, but Sand King's already in the game. But DK, probably DK. Insta stun, it's have the armor against the Sven. Maybe can tank some of these Sand King Mirana combos in the game. It's a tanky hero.
Now, RDO, why do you think they're banning the Morphling? Do you think it's Sven 5 here?
I have no idea what's happening, man. But I would like to see a Warlock for Infamous. It should be a good lane with Sven, and they would just AFK farm, and Sven will never die because it has like 1k HP at level 2, and Visage can never burst him. Free farm for Parker, everyone gets happy on Infamous. And there's also a lot of teamfight potential when you pick Warlock, because he adds a lot of damage with Auto Bones plus Sand King Mirana puck spells.
Okay. Well, there you go. I would love to see that pick. But also, I'm kind of curious if this Sven's going to go support, because I'd love to see it. If someone's going to play Sven 5, that is going to be Axel. He's the pioneer of Gyrocopter 5, Juggernaut 5, CK 5. All losses, but he pioneered. Final pick for Tempest. They most likely need... Well, I mean, you were saying the Dragon Knight. Do you agree with this assessment, RDO? Do you also like to see the Visage as a 5 and pick a...
Nah, I feel like they put the Visage off lane against Sven because nothing will happen in the lane, and they pick a Treant in here because they have 0 siege damage on the side of Infamous. But the DK is also a good idea.
Sorry? Sexy Fat, what'd you say?
Also Wyvern too, that can get this book like stunned.
And it seems like they... I'm not really sure, actually. I can't tell if this is the offlane or not. They kind of keep the flex open even at the end of the draft.
Yes. What a god tier draft.
Is the Dawnbreaker here, like, is it because the hero's broken? Like, what does she provide?
It's a flex, right? And the hero is strong in both position 5 and position 3 in this game, because he has 1k HP on level 2, he deals a lot of damage, it's hard to kill him on position 5 because has a Juggernaut pairing with.
I like this Dawnbreaker because now they have a way to defend themselves against this Sand King Mirana initiation. Before they had no mechanism of saving.
And there you go.
Lord.
I knew it.
Oh my. So this
it's
is what
Axel 5 said.
This is what I was talking about, right? The very weird drafts from SA.
Man, this place is a place of innovation. This is the equivalent of when Newton, if you guys know, he died drinking mercury, and he would like suggest to everyone, it's like, mate, mercury is so good for you. Like, you just gotta keep drinking it. Is that kind of innovation where you're not really sure if it's good or bad until someone dies, and then you figure it out. In the case of Tempest, they're also gonna run a 5 Visage, and it's gonna be a 3 Dawnbreaker. Sexy Fat, I think you're pleased with this, right? No more Visage Rubik lane.
Yeah. I was gonna cry for the Draco if it was this lane, because oh my god.
Okay. Does this sell you on the Tempest draft then? Do you like him more than Infamous?
Nah, I'll probably go the Infamous draft.
Okay.
I'm Sven 5 enjoyer, so I don't think it's a problem, even though it's not usual. But yeah, I think it's a good draft.
Hey, RDO, I know you're a little bit of an old man when it comes to draft, so I don't know if this Sven 5 is okay for you.
No, I'm not going with the Sven 5. Even though the other draft is also a bit weird with Visage 5 and Dawnbreaker 3, I'll go with the Tempest case.
Okay, well, the panel's divided. One says Tempest, one says Infamous. But who's going to take game number 1? Only time will tell. But a certain person will call it. And that person should be, hopefully, Gareth or to Bowie. So take it away.
Or it's one or none of us, Bowie. Or we can have both of us. Yeah, we're both here as we get ourselves into game 1 of Infamous against Tempest. Now, I'm a big fan of the Sven 5, and I'm a bigger fan of Neanderthal Dota. Stuns galore from Infamous. What do you reckon about this Tempest draft, Bowie?
I actually really like it.
Really?
I think, yes, I really like it. I've been following, SVG for a while, and he tried it on his stream. He had a lot of success with it. Like, when you actually think about it, you spend 1,400 gold for the shard, and you get 7 armor in AoE. Like, when you think of the value that is,
it's like
in
an
terms
AC.
of, like, items, yeah, but it's like a fourth of the price. And that's not even counting your Warcry that is going to be on top of the passive armor with the talents and everything. I actually feel like it's pretty good. They did actually flex really well on the side of Infamous for the... I'm sorry. For this Visage to not be offlane. So I like that a lot because that was a big part of physical damage that now became a mix with Draken playing the Dawnbreaker. So I feel like that Sven 5 might not have as much impact as maybe they would have liked. But still, it's a really strong lane. Just, 2 stuns, very bulky hero on the Sven. And like the after they buff Warcry a bit with that 22% bonus move speed, like the fights are gonna look really good. I'm really curious to see how Affliction is gonna build in terms of items here. The shard is definitely good, But will we get drums? Will we see some sort of? He's probably not going to have a lot of money to work with, but I'm very curious to see if he's just going to rush Blink or get the shard. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's not much you need here, right? You're not forced into a situation where you need a 4-staff. You don't necessarily need, a Lotus Orb or something. So I think he's pretty open in terms of, if I have gold, I'll spend it on whatever feels good in the moment. But
One thing, though...
Go on.
Oh, sorry. I'm just a little bit scared for this Luna versus Juggernaut matchup. I think Luna definitely scales faster than the Jug and gets online really quickly. But this Juggernaut hero is so strong right now. I think Beast Coast definitely has something going. I think they were probably the first team that consistently picked Jug through Tour 2 and now Tour 3. And I value that hero a lot. So if there's someone that can make this Jug look really good, it's Kotaro. I'm very interested to see how he play, because he definitely is a Manta this game, right? Against this Puck. But you also want to be bulky because the Sand King into arrows very scary.
Instant stun, right? Also got Lucent Beam from Luna to catch you from fog if need be. And I think it's one of those games where Luna can join some of these earlier fights quite effectively with the amount of stuns and control you've got from the rest of the heroes. Now, a quick aside, the Puck here tagged up as Damien Desmond. Is that alone? I was trying to check his Dota buff profile, but it seems like an alt account. I wasn't quite sure who that is for the Puck on Infamous, but they are smoked and walking straight up the stairs. On the high ground with the Observer Ward there, they find a Stormhammer arrow. They've caught Sabas, and Oscar's there to chain stun him down. The spin was good, though, so Affliction will be a morsel that Tempest get, and Oscar actually in a lot of trouble too. Sliced by Kotaro. Michael, of course, doesn't have a leap now, having skilled that arrow. Is in open waters, and there's 3 sharks. They sense blood in the water. Celestial Hammer is there. Arrows chucked out as and the dying breath of Mirana, giving Tempest the better trade early on.
I mean, just the way you like it, right? That was pretty, you could say that was the Undertow Dota.
Caveman stuff, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What is staircase? Staircase go up. We go up. Oh, enemy here. Bad times.
Exactly. I mean, they did get first blood inside of Infamous, but losing 3 heroes, pretty bad, I would say. They'll try to fight for the runes here. Parker picks one up, and Sliding probably just gets out.
They are zoning Draken out of lane, though. With that Lucent Beam and Affliction giving him a couple of taps, that means Tango's burnt. And these early regen trades, always so important in these side lanes to get the upper hand. Try and stay in the lane, especially trying to hit level 2 that little bit faster.
Yeah, I actually want to double check what you said about Puck. I'm pretty sure this is not the account he used to play as Alone. So,
okay.
There was, from what I read and what I heard, there was some criticism in the way Alone played the last couple of matches.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I would say it was not his brightest moments. The last 2 series that they played. But whether, this is a standing, whether something, maybe just a sickness, I don't have that information.
Well, usually the admins are pretty good at letting us know if someone's standing in, so I'd assume that this is Alone, unless told otherwise, maybe just on a different account. Yeah, down that bottom lane, Parker, having been given a good start, is closing in on that level 2. Getting pressured a bit, though, by Draken and Slardin, and that's a little combo there. Telekinesis with the Starbreaker gets you a good couple of seconds of chain stun. And that's made sure, Luna doesn't hit 2. Sven is forced back as well. And even after a good bit of chip damage from Infamous, it's still Tempest applying that pressure early on.
I like the Parker build quite a bit. I think this is definitely became like a quintessential build in a lot of carries these days. The triple branch into one. But he definitely needs a little bit of regen that right now he's not really bringing. He already has 500 gold, so I'm not sure what he's actually... maybe he's just going for that Morbid Rush or the Mask of Madness, which could be greedy. There's not that much regen on Affliction.
He buys the Band of Elven Skin and sends that out. Not any further regen, but he's got 13 one charges, right? So he should be fine in the long run. And Affliction can also tank up some of that aggression as you just see him play forward there in towards Slardin. Even securing range creeps with a Stormhammer. So a bit of calm now in that lane as the waves no longer meeting. People dragging them around. We can take a peek into that top lane as the spin and the soul assumption doing some good damage onto Oscar. Michael will trade back for Catyu. Still nice advantage there for Tempest. Getting the bigger kill.
Okay. Pretty interesting that the Mirana ended up going for this Wraith Bond. Usually not an item you see on support Mirana. And specifically in a lane where this is not really known for the physical damage aspect being level 1, right? The base damage is pretty bad. So, pretty interesting here. I think there's definitely items that would make this lane a little bit easier for them, like the Basi. You see that on position force quite often. But we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this before on like very greedy Miranas, like Yapsa or something. Oh, wow, they get the Luna down bottom. Finishing her off, Affliction couldn't save them. So Parker down for another 10 seconds. Now bottom lane continues being very good there for Tempest, as up at top, Oscar has to burst strike away as he's incredibly afraid of this Juggernaut. Boots' advantage on Jug means the spin becomes even more potent. It is level 2 now as well.
And that death, I mean, we talked about the lack of regen on the Luna. I like the build quite a bit, but it wouldn't hurt to get Band of Elfskin with a salve on top of it for Parker. And they also find for Affliction.
And it gives his life. Will return full HP and mana with all his resources. We'll see. Yeah, he's got some regen on the courier as well. And that top lane's just not fun. Oscar has used the past 3 burst strikes just to escape from Kataro and Catyu. And this is a pretty difficult lane for Sanking Mirana, right? They want that kill threat on the position 1, but the fact Kataro has spin, which he's very quick on his fingers at using, and he's forced the burst strike to be used defensively, makes it incredibly difficult for Infamous to do too much.
Yeah, that's a lane where it can go both ways, but if whoever actually gets the first kill or just gets the experience advantage, it definitely starts getting harder and harder.
Can they kill
Oscar, as you said?
Sabas in the mid lane. Michael's there with an arrow, but we've got raindrops, fairy fire, stick charges. Sebas still alive somehow, slides to dodge some projectiles, but he will fall. Michael, barely dies to the tier 2 tower. And it looked like down bottom a bit of action is petering out there as Draken has managed to get away from the Lucent Beams and Stormhammers that this Luna Sven are offering.
Hey, that's pretty good for Mirana, actually. That's one of the cases where you would rather die than have to walk base with a Wraith Band and no boots. So now he's ready to TP. He's going to refill the puck bottle. Very nicely done by Mako. I think this is... I was kind of scared about the prospects of this Mirana, just because it's not that easy for you to set up kills mid. There's not a lot of stuns on the side of Infamous, with the exception of bottom. But yeah, sliding here, kind of low HP. Should be fine, though.
Yeah, and I'm watching Oscar up top. He's really had a rough time. Really had a rough time. Like, he's run through the northern trees behind the tier 1 to try and drag creep wave. He spent his stun, and now he's sandstorming between towers just to collect whatever farm is left to him. This means Kataro gets absolute free farm, and he can start dragging waves into maybe the large camp or the small camp for that free farm plus. They are trying to line something up in the mid lane, though. Stormhammer dodged. Sebas gets away from it.
From sliding.
Lift up the Sven and drag him back into the Ember. Puck does have a coil here. Holding onto it for now as Catyu drops dangerously low, but Damien Desmond, the Puck, is going to slip away with what little resources he has left. Pretty scary going back that way in the river, though. Has to orb and jaunt back, leaving Michael to clean up the mess. Catyu, getting bottled by Sebas. Double bottled, triple bottled. He's not surviving this. Finally dies, but Mirana, another leap potentially, but the tower hits will connect. Messy stuff in that mid lane, all starting out with an initiation attempt on Sebas. And I mean, slight dodging Stormhammer that used to be very difficult because the projectile followed you. Has that changed?
No, it still follows you, but there's definitely the right timing. You need to make sure that as you move towards the targets that you slide of fist, the hammer finds you. So I don't know how to actually explain it, but you can dodge it. It's
just say
hard,
it's frame perfect. That's what they do in the speedrun community. Just say frame perfect trick. That's all you need to know.
Yep. Yeah, very nicely done there by Tempest. They're getting a lot of kills everywhere. This Luna kind of had a tough start, but already recovering a bit. But this Juggernaut being free farm, that's really scary. I think this matchup of Jug and Luna, if it's one-on-one, this Jug, it just makes it really tough for the Luna. And in the past, you could go like E-Blade and stuff like that. But nowadays, with the new build-up, it's not really an item Luna wants to build.
Yeah, and Tempest in force come down bottom. They do spend 2 ultis to clear out the Dawnbreaker, though. Catyu Visage getting chased down by the puck. Michael trying to line up an arrow. It's going to slide straight past him, but Catyu still stuck in the trees, doing as much damage as he can to the puck before slipping into the ether. Oh, but look at Sabas, who is thinking about it. Spotted by the Radiant Observer Ward coming up the staircase, though. Damien Desmond, Mr. Puck, going to jaunt away. Silenced up this Ember Spirit, who doesn't have a Remnant out just yet. Dawnbreaker has the Solar Guardian, but the arrow across the mountains clips into the Ember. This is huge for Infamous. Puck will die as Slardin finds the final hit there, and Parker, incredibly low, needs the backup of Affliction to escape from this one. You've got no more 1 charges, nothing to save him. Celestial Hammer's ready now. Draken, can he find him? Michael and Slardin both having a bit of a scrap elsewhere. And Luna tucks herself in the trees, very thankfully still alive.
Oof, yeah, it was really close. It's amazing that Parker survives. And it's these movements are actually relieving a lot of pressure on Oscar. As you said, he was having a terrible game, but for like 5 or 6 waves, he's been dragging those creeps into the big jungle. Juggernaut doesn't really have any incentive to go after him, so he is actually growing in net worth. That's very necessary for this guy. He's gonna finish his blink in a bit, and once you have that blink, Jug can die, but Jug is now actually killing the Mirana.
Yeah, he's got his Javelin, just straight up solo kills her. A bit of a hunt happening down south as Sven hounded by the Dawnbreaker. Now this map.
That's such a fast Maelstrom on Kotaro. Jesus, that's a 9-minute Maelstrom pretty much. It's really fast.
He's a monster. So then he's going to be able to keep up somewhat in terms of farm with the Luna, and she will start to accelerate. You see pings coming out into Radiant Triangle. She needs stacks. And equally, Dire Team are going to need to contest them. Right. Sanking near Blink, though. Yeah, like you were saying, he has managed to get a bit of space here.
Love the Parker movements. You do want to open up the jungle. This Juggernaut was free farm for way too long. And now this Jugga also understands that the Blink Dagger could be ready on the Sand King. I actually really like the he TPs away. It's a very hard tower to defend. And that's the problem for Tempest. They're getting a lot of kills, but the early push from them is very negligible. This Luna, even behind the Juggernaut, can actually have a bigger impact in the map. So now it's Infamous time to really open up the map and make sure that Parker free farms, while Oscar and the boys will just create a lot of chaos everywhere else.
Yeah, they're incredibly hard to fight into as well, right? Blink Sand King it is coming, but even without it, they've got Coil, Stormhammer, Burrow Strike, Arrows, a ton of spill and single target team fight available to them. Big smoke here.
Ideal talked
where's
about
Oscar's blink? He's got too many items in his inventory. He's dropped a Clarity. He's ready now.
Solar Guardian is really going to be important for them to try and counter this initiation from Infamous. Ideally, I think this Ember is probably the best target you want to be showing as first point of contact. But if it's the Juggernaut, he does have Healing Ward active. Let's see the micro.
Can they catch him? No, they go for the Rubik instead. Chain stuns onto him, so Slardin's dead. Kotaro knows how strong he is, just sticks around in the face of 4 opponents. He's got 9 wand and, of course, that spin ready, so he doesn't really care when he knows the stuns are all on cooldown. And that is room for Luna. Farming through stacks in the triangle. But a very, very close game now.
The Sven, we actually talked a little bit about the possible item build. He actually had Blink Dagger queued up, but he is going for the Shard now. He is not having the greatest game. As you can see, his net worth pretty down the barrel.
Yeah, not looking too great, but he's position 5, Sven. What can you do?
Yeah, that's life.
Finds a bounty rune. I mean, does he even level ulti at 6? Is that worth it? Just go another point in stun?
I think it's worth it just because, like, the third point in stun is a pretty negligible damage increase. You know, the stun duration, you probably get it. Like, you definitely don't get cleave, and then you max the Warcry, and then you max Stormhammer, I think. You double your damage. That has to be better than just getting another point in Stormhammer.
Yeah, we'll see. Managed to
You don't
de-ward
seem very confident.
Just get Stormhammer, man. Don't get the ulti. He got that Observer Ward just before it expired, which is nice. Find himself some bonus gold. It does feel like Infamous are itching for a fight, though. They're the ones that want to try and drive this one home. Now, Oscar invested in the Blink. He's not really been able to use it just yet. Draken hiding in the trees down there as Oscar getting run at by the smoke from the rest of Tempest. Sebas and Slardin coming down into this jungle, and they... Oh, the high ground Observer Ward. That's what gave them away. Very quick there from Oscar.
Alright, so with the smoke being wasted here on Tempest, I would love to see Infamous actually going for an aggressive play. Looks like Damien Desmond is going to refill his bottle. They might just want to wait for this Blink Dagger. With the Witchblade, they definitely have enough damage. They have a lot of burst damage. It's all about finding the right targets. I'm sure they could burst someone before the Solar Guardian even gets used.
Oh, very likely, yeah. They just need to see someone to burst them. It's been very, very nicely done here by Tempest, dodging all these fights, looking for openings of themselves. Keeping the Juggernaut free farming. He has just been overtaken by the Luna, but he's got an ancient stack to clear himself. Another smoke from Infamous. They'll take anything at this point. They see the Rubik mid. Do we go on him? Oh, is it going to crash into a Visage instead? I don't know which is worse. I'll find this kill. I can't really move it into more. They can with the coil. Arrow combo, not quite landing. Slides past Draken, who still has 800 HP to burst through. Pretty difficult kill to find, and gonna have some backup soon as well. Slot in there with a Fade Bolt. They do find Draken kill, and the Omni Slash cancelled out by the phase shift. Katara unable to stick on the puck, but they'll get the Sand King dragged back with this buyback out of Draken and the move from Sladin. Expensive defense of that bottom lane team fight, but definitely a signal of intent that Tempest will match them in numbers.
Yeah, I think until that buyback, it was pretty good for Tempest, because there's no
they
fear
found
of
the
them
puck.
taking any towers. Okay.
They TP'd back to this tier 1 mid lane. Damien Desmond has got a lot of work to do here to shift away from the Ember Spirit, who catches him with another Remnant. There's no mana left here on Sebas, so the Orb Jaunt away should give the space that Desmond needed. Rubik, yeah, tried with a Burrow to close the gap, but wasn't fast enough.
Blink
in
was
stun.
a difference maker.
Oscar,
Okay.
they find the Juggernaut, and they've got the magic damage to burst him down. That Burrow Strike arrow play is massive for them. Dawnbreaker wants the Sven now. And in war, there's always some kind of trade-off. Affliction. The one to be sad this time around.
Yeah, it's really bad that the Juggernaut died, because I still favor this Juggernaut over the Luna going forward, especially once this meta is completed. And so far, Kotaro has been farming with no real threat from Infamous. But now dying middle, this is going to slow down the Manta that he already committed since he bought the Manta style recipe. And you can see that Parker is slowly accelerating mid. Oh my god.
Look at them go in! Destroying the pos forwards immediately. Cat U is going to feel the wrath of Affliction. Pops the God Strength, but Sebas, huge damage out of his Sleight of Fist. Clears through another one. Affliction now backed up by the Luna with the Eclipse, but Juggernaut's arrival should shut this one short. The Healing Ward dealt with now. Manta Star to jump around, but Sebas and Kataro, they've got her all caught up. Maybe she can trade out, kills the Ember before dying. But a 5-man wipe going in, and Tempest stamping them into the ground.
Yeah. This Juggernaut hero, man, he is so freaking strong. And that's pre-shard, pre-level 20. Yeah, we can see in the replay here. It really felt like this Ven was going to... he actually did a lot. The Warcry really allowed Infamous to stand their ground. But once everyone is dead, and this Luna TPs with very few help from everyone. You could see the healing ward there. He actually gets it at the end, but it's still he gets a kill. So Parker is very farmed, but I think he just joined this fight a little bit too late, and that ended up in a clutch kill from Kotaro.
Yeah, we just needed one burrow strike there. Could maybe get the Luna a triple kill, but arrives a little bit too late. Everyone already dead. Yeah, I didn't even see how that fight properly started.
Yeah, it was the initiation. It felt like a really good initiation for Infamous because they bursted. I think it was the Rubik right at the beginning. But then the Sven gets like a 3-man level 4 Stormhammer. He pops that ulti with no cleave, but it still looked pretty awesome.
It's like 3-man Stormhammer, 2-man Burrow Strike, and still Tempest come out on top.
Yeah. Alright, so Manta is now completed for Kotaro, and he's pretty much fearless now. He has that extra second on the Blade Fury duration. That's when this Luna itemization starts to get wonky, because he's going Manta. You know, this allows him to deal with the Omni a little bit better, but the BKB really doesn't do that much. And once the charges are down, that's where the spin with the level 20 talent is so hard to deal with. This might be a game where he's forced into like that old Daedalus damage build.
Scardy Daedalus, yeah.
Yeah, where you to like kite and kind of kill the Jug whilst he spins, because that's probably the only way he'll ever kill Kotaro.
Feels like it. And the Jug, of course, also has the option to go into like Scardy Butterfly, something like that, if he wants to pad out his stats. And kill off Draken up top. 3 heroes strong, but Infamous still bailing away after spending all their spells. And the Puck will clear up some of these pesky familiars. Nice bit of bonus gold there. I move forward onto Katyu. Now, Oscar Michael still stuck around. It looked like they were fully retreating, but they swing back through that jungle to find a freebie. And all eyes really still on this mid-tier 1 tower on the dire side. But Roshan, it's open for them. They killed off 2, and they know they've got numbers.
Huge move. This is so important. That's probably the only way Luna can do with this Jug, having Aegis. So it's been very hard for them to actually take the mid-tier 1 tower. But they just get Roche without even taking it. So quite lucky. Good movement from Infamous. And now there's definitely going to be some extra aggressive moves for them to take this mid-tier 1 tower, conquer the big jungle. Ideally, you take a lot of these tier 2s, and second row should be their timing to win this game, because you definitely don't want to go too late against this Jug.
And as per usual, one team with Aegis, the other team smoking to try and catch someone to waste that Aegis timer, but Puck, ever elusive, does not get caught mid, while the rest of her squad go into the exact same position. They've just killed someone off. They find Slardin, and again the chain stun's perfect. Coil also catching on to Katyu's Visage. 2 support kills here is good enough for Infamous to get this tier 1 middle lane. Now Parker has skyrocketed 3,000 net worth ahead of the Juggernaut, holding Aegis and looking like they're in a good spot to take out some tier 2s.
Yeah, I was going to comment on the Ember Spirit build. I really like that he went for BKB. I feel like a lot of Embers, especially in South America, you see them just lose because they double down on the Maelstrom. They lose 1 or 2 fights, and then you have this Javelin, and you're farming towards Maelstrom when you want to go BKB. The problem is that they're finding the supports with these moves on Infamous, and he never really gets the chance of being the aggressor with the BKB so that, you know, he tanks spells, gets vision, and then everyone else can follow him. So I do like the item build, but it feels like Tempest, they feel a little bit lost with the way things have been going for Infamous with all of those pickoffs.
Yeah, also the fact he went just Blightstone, not finishing off Orb of Corruption, is a full rush into BKB, really.
Yeah.
So he does have to be the one that, like you say, kind of initiates, tanks things up, and creates space for Kotaro in these team fights. Dire Vision looking pretty good, though. Spread across from mid lane down into bottom jungle. Tempest sees everything coming. Oh, the familiars, though. Burrow Struck, dead. 200 bonus gold for Parker. Coil onto Ember Spirit. He's got BKB still, and he will use it at the last moment needed. Parker being focused by the Jug and the Visage, though. Oscar, what can he do to try and save up his Luna? Not too much. He spent his burrow on the Dawnbreaker. Epicenter down. Parker manters. The burrow back in from Slot and misses. Rubik stole it, but there's nothing with it. Sebas dead, but the Aegis has popped. Kataro's Omni Slash thrown into the mix to kill the Luna once. Does he have spin? He will run towards the Mirana, but it goes for the TP home now instead. Nothing to stop him. So he's out safe and sound.
That was a really unfortunate fight for Tempest because Kotaro had his shard flying during that fight, but the first Blade Fury he went for didn't have it, so he was not doing the attack damage whilst he's pinned, and I think that would be enough for him to take the Aegis down, and then he could use the Omni Slash for the second life. But because he actually didn't kill the Luna in the first spin, it made the fight maybe a little bit worse than it could have been for Tempest. Sure, they didn't lose many heroes, but it feels like this network advantage is getting out of control, and they really need to start getting some advantageous fights, or else, even though the matchup is good for the Jug, it feels like Infamous is just munching up the entire map. Like, this Jug can't 1 versus 5.
Yeah, they're so afraid to fight head-on into this 5-man Infamous squad with all the stuns and teamfight they've got. It feels like they want to just try and delay this, defend their high ground, find easy picks where they can, like a Sven. I don't know if he's that easy, though. The Warcry's kept him tanky alive. Slotted with a great 2-man burrow, though, does allow them to get a couple of quick kills. Now, full retreat from Infamous. Pop the Moonlight Shadow, TP out with Parker, and run back with Michael.
Yep, well, that's pretty good. I think the Sven, usually you wouldn't say that Sven is your priority target, but when he presses Warcry, he's just giving 22 armor in AoE and a lot of move speed. I really feel like
plus
if you can kill
medallion
him before he... Yes. So
Ooh,
there's
lift.
a lot of benefits there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Ava was joking about it on the panel, picking Puck into an instant stun, and that's the strength of Rubik right there. Gets the catch, allows the rest of the team to follow up.
We're gonna steal this stack, apparently. Things starting to look up here. The Aegis... Oh, look at the build here. They're even going AC. They're just tripling down on armor on the side of Infamous. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Luna with an Assault Cuirass.
Huh. Okay.
Trying to kill the Dawnbreaker here. Parker moves forward, but Ember Spirit catches Sven. And he's got the kitchen sink chucked at him by the Dawnbreaker as they really defend the stack. Take it out with Draken. Kataro's nowhere near, though. He's off on his own little journey to clear out Ancients, and we still have a 3-minute wait at least until Roshan. So there's this awkward period in the game where no one really has a real clear key objective they need to take. Maybe a tier 2 that Tempest could find and unlock the outpost, but that means fighting into your opponents. Again, it's got to be Infamous that smoke, right? Yeah, they're the ones that want to keep brawling.
That's a catapult wave as well, so they have a lot of incentives in actually trying to win a fight right now and capitalizing on another tier 2 tower. But doesn't really feel like Tempest is really going to give it to them. They're camping this triangle. They're not really cutting the waves, and part of that is because they actually didn't take the tier 1 top. So it's kind of awkward for them to go in between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower. But I do like where they are positioned in the map. You don't want to give this Roshan away. Oh.
It was an illusion bait. Kataro's illusion baits out the epicenter blink burrow from Oscar. And yeah, tier 1 top is dying. Catapult wave is there. They're kind of chipping away with Cat Use Familiars safely, and then they bring the heroes in. While tier 2 mid still stands. Now it's Infamous who feel a little bit lost and not sure what they're meant to be doing. They want to wait for next Roshan, but they also want to fight.
Okay, they're gonna force this. There's a lot of vision here on from Tempest in this area. It's really awkward for them to go for this.
They see everything. Sebas, he's baiting with that, right? He knew the arrow was coming. He's like, let it hit me. Let the waves crash over me. I still haven't taken that tier 2 in the mid lane, while Kataro goes to work on the tier 2 top. Tempest really getting the upper hand in the macro movements the past 4-5 minutes. Jump in from Puck and Oscar Sanking. Does catch the Dawnbreaker, and yeah, like you've been saying, they have absolutely got that immediate burst to kill off anybody.
they're going high ground now. Okay. Oh, no, yeah. Forget about that. They pinged it, but they quickly realized that's a little bit too greedy.
That's absolutely someone like the puck is like, can we go high ground, guys? And Parker just goes, no. No.
Not in a million years. But yeah, I still feel like Kotaro is doing a really good job staying here, just making sure the stop and mid waves are under control, because you don't want to give up all of these wars that they conquered in the enemy triangle. These are key for them to contest Roche once it spawns. And let's take a look on the timer. That's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
So, nothing major going on. I feel like this might be a kind of a snooze fest until it's confirmed that Roshan spawned, because whoever team actually forces their hand could get super unlucky, where like you get like 2 kills, but you spend all of your cooldowns, Roche spawns, the enemy team just like forces it, and you just watch with tears in your eyes as second Roche falls.
Yeah, but it's one of those kind of passive periods of a game where it's kind of down to one team playing very well, right? Tempest are avoiding every smoke, they're avoiding every team fight. Sladin and the observer wards, you're saying they are holding key areas of the map. But a good coil snap and the burrow strike in. Oscar can't finish the job. Sebas saved maybe by Draken, but dies to Parker in the end. Even with that Solar Guardian, they do drop. In comes the spin, the stolen burrow as well from Sladin. Killing off Damien Desmond. Parker BKBs and turns onto Cat U, kills the healing ward, but the Omni Slash, it bounces back across to the Sven. Asher from Kotaro catches out Parker, but the glaives are bouncing. You do not mess with the glaives when they are jumping back from familiars onto the Visage, and now Kotaro meeting his match. Parker cleared up by the Juggernaut, and Oscar dead as well. Oh my goodness, Michael, the only one still left alive. No leap charges, no Yules, but Tempest keep alive. 2 core heroes on the doorstep of Roshan. That could have been massive, but the big man is still dead for 30 more seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that was still pretty lucky for Infamous. Kotaro, when he went for the Omni Slash on Parker, the Manta dodge kind of jumped the Juggernaut over the Sven and the Mirana. So he actually didn't really take a lot of Omni Slash damage, and still he got bashed when he went for the BKB TP. That's why this matchup's so bad. Like, even with this AC that he tried to... that's pretty inventive, I would say. But it's still, like, the downtime on the Jugger spells in these team fights is really, really hard to fight into. Like, once you're level 20 on Jug, it feels like you're pretty much unstoppable. There's not a lot of matchups where Jug feels threatened when you get over this point. And I think there was a really good job by Infamous of eating the map and getting these early tier 2 towers. But I just feel like there's going to be a free Roche for Tempest after that fight. The respawn timer on Parker a little bit too high.
Looks like it. And yeah, every time these fights happen, if it's a full 5v5, it feels like if you don't catch and kill the Juggernaut, you don't stand a chance in these extended team fights. Yeah, catching Sebas there, that's a good thing. He's the mid laner, he's a core hero. But if you're spending your surprise, like it's the surprise initiation, right? If you spend that on a hero that's not going to win you the team fight, it's not looking good. But in we go.
Oh, they're going.
Roshan dead. He just grabbed by Kotaro, and out goes the puck once more. A Solar Guardian there to heal him up, and Sven Parker, the Eclipse is used out. She holds the high ground now, but surrounded by these Tempest heroes. The puck will come in and do what she can, but there's just no chance now for Infamous. They're being cleared up. Kotaro is unstoppable on this Jug as he bashes and finds yet another victim. And that net worth lead, which was, I don't know, 10, 15k, has slipped down to nothing.
Indeed. It's really unfortunate. They actually saw the Juggernaut spinning in the Roche pit, and the Sand King tried to guess the Blade Spear duration, but this new talent, the extra 1 second, it feels pretty minor, right? But that's the reason the Burrow Strike didn't land, and he was able to brute force the Roche as Kotaro. He guessed the Aegis, and then Parker already TP'd into that fight so he can BKB TP away, and this game just went 100-0. Feels like Infamous is out of gas.
Yeah, it's not just one lane. Draken pushes out top, so multi-lanes drifting into the Radiant base. Tempest could look for 2 sets of barracks with 30 seconds remaining on the Lunar's respawn time. It should be a pretty simple ordeal. Yeah, puck.
All right, I'm a little bit sad, you know, this Ven 5, it's so fun, it's different, but Jug seems to be no match.
Oh man, Puck, are you dying to a visage? What have you got? A blink? It's not going to be ready. Oh, it is. Jumps back towards Fountain. Thankful to be still alive. But now, yeah, pretty massive deficit. The 2 lanes gone. And the stranglehold line drawn out by Tempest there. Hold out mid, cut the waves, get down bottom for the tier 2, take outpost. So many goodies on the map for Tempest to claim.
Looks like, I mean, there's still like a chance that the gold advantage isn't that big on the side of Tempest, and the Aegis would respawn before Megas are acquired. But they might have like one fight on Infamous, and they really have to make it count. Maybe, you know, farm level 18 on Sand King to have that extra damage. Completing the Ags on this Puck could also be huge. They really need to squeeze as much out of the map as they can before this push from Tempest comes. And, I mean, it's coming. Look at a huge wave.
Oh, man, a massive army. Arrow's not going to hit the catapult either. And Juggernaut, even though he's like half HP after that stun in from Mr. Oscar's Sand King, Kataro seems perfectly happy to stick around with his healing ward out. Oscar, thinking about the Epi. Parker even ran down to low ground, which is always a scary thing to see. Hiding under Moonlight Shadow for now. And even 5-man smoking behind their tier 3. Kataro moves to maybe cut that wave mid. Well, this is the chance. This is the opportunity you've got now as Infamous. You have to move out of your base. You cannot let Tempest reach your high ground again.
Good defense. They managed to actually get the level 18 on the Sand King. They didn't really finish the eggs, but it's really close. So, yeah, I mean, ideally, if they can actually wait these ages out, that's probably the prime time for them to try a comeback. Like, the gold advantage, it's not that big, so I'm sure they can win a fight. It's all about bursting the Jug. The problem is that once he gets to level 25, he's just so tanky. Like, 3k HP with 34 armor. Even if they do get the Burrow Striking 2 arrow, he also has the status resistance of this liver.
Yeah.
They're gonna need to throw everything at the perfect timing.
Like this?
Maybe this is it.
No, that was not perfect. It was a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Maybe if the Luna's there or the Puck joins in, maybe. As always, the backup, the Rubik with that safety lift. Another Yules. Kataro healed to full by his ward. This is the difficulty now. How do you start on this Jug? They're trying the chain stuns, the Lucent Beam, Kataro, Omni slashes back in. Still 20 seconds left on his Aegis, and Parker has to defensively BKB. The Eclipse comes, but the damage is just lacking. Kataro's first life down, yes, but Parker and Oscar, they whiff on their contribution to the fight. Luna back into Fountain. Sebas has dived a little too far. Might find a kill, but drops regardless. Luna now gone for 90 seconds. Should mean that Tempest buy back on a couple of heroes and close this one out. Looking for that tier 3 bottom lane, and what, a 5v3. No buyback on Luna or Sven. Glyph will only delay the inevitable now. Kataro is way too strong on this Juggernaut.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't even mind that there's no buyback on Parker. He went for this butterfly, and even still, you could see that Omni Slash hurt as much as it did Oscar. I mean,
yeah, go on.
After barracks are over.
Get in there, my man. Go on, buddy. You can do it. You can survive. He's got another Burrow Strike in a sec. Affliction turns on the God Strength and dies immediately after. And we've seen Juggernauts be the counter. Sven's be the counter to Juggernaut with the Warcry against Omni Slash, the God Strength against the Spin, but not from the position 5 role.
Yeah, I think, the idea is pretty interesting, but the problem is, like, this new sort of Jug, it's not about the physical damage. Like, he's doing way more magical than he is doing physical. So, I guess that, in a sense, if it was against a Terrorblade, if it was against some, like, very heavy physical damage, that Sven 5 could have worked a little bit better. But I don't think the itemization made that much sense when you consider that, that Ember actually didn't have a lot of farm. The Sleight of Fist was not the problem. Visage was not a core. So, I like this Sven 5, but I don't think it was the perfect response to what the Jug actually brings to the table. Still, I feel like Infamous played well. It was just like a really good defense from Infamous and really good fights taken. They really, the way they occupied the triangle in the mid game and just got the tier 1 tower, the tier 2 tower. They killed Parker, got Aegis. I feel like they really worked the map a little bit better than Infamous in the later portions of the game.
Yeah, they spread out super wide, controlled a lot of the map, made sure that Infamous couldn't get those smoke gank team fights rolling, which it felt like they needed to completely dominate that game. But yeah, but Bowie, I think it's all about belief. Not enough of us believed in the Sven 5. He's like Tinkerbell, you know? You've got to say, I believe in Sven 5 and clap your hands. And clap. Arvo, clap your hands. I believe in Sven 5. Come on. Oh, Arvo needs to really
I was
believe.
clapping, so
I don't know if
we
he's
need
clapping
to
yet.
wait for him.
But I need Arvo to clap. I need Arvo to believe in the Sven 5. I really hope he does, because...
Holy, I was clapping for like a solid 2 minutes. I'm a caster. I'm not ready for this kind of exercise, guys. Please don't ask me that again. RDO, my lovely resident old man, you were completely right. The Sven 5 did not work. How did you do such a great prediction? No, actually, I want to ask you a serious question about the game, because it felt like the Luna was leading. I saw the 7k lead. It looked good for Infamous, but they weren't winning fights, and Juggernaut just seemed better. Is this a core-to-core matchup issue? Was there some team fight that we were missing out? What was happening in those fights?
I feel like Infamous had the gold advantage at the early game, like they had 7 or 8k at the early game, because they have more ways to shove the wave. If you think about Tempest draft, only Juggernaut really pushed the wave fast enough. Like Downbreaker was just speeding around, and Visage and Rubik cannot push waves, so it's natural that Infamous was gonna have a good early/mid game. But once the mid to late game starts, and it's all about team fights, and Dire has a Visage with OP Vlads, and Radiant has a Sven. So in the end, Tempest just had a more team fight draft, and they executed it better.
Yeah. 65, what did you think of that, the Visage 5 in the situation with the Dawnbreaker? Dawnbreaker didn't destroy her lane, but it did seem much more impactful than the Visage 3 that we saw eventually, right?
Yeah. Seeing the situation they got into it, I think was the best option they did. I want to say I still like this Van pick at this game, but I really think Parker went too much armor stuff and built as Assault Cuirass. And on fights, what I was seeing is like a lot of magic damage, and I don't know, Luna couldn't just deal damage. Like Jug was spinning around her, and she was like with BKB dealing no damage, was Brave Pact and stuff. So, yeah, I really think this Assault Cuirass on Parker wasn't the right item on this game. Should have gone for Daedalus, like damage. Was the only physical damage on the team, and had no damage. Didn't make sense to me.
That's a good point. It especially makes the Sven 5 look weird, because I thought they picked it because of the Warcry, right? That's a big deal, the whole extra armor, and then you just build armor anyway. Okay. What does the Sven do now? As RDO said, nothing. But we do have a second game to look forward to, though. Infamous, they want to keep those chances to the major alive. He actually had a conference with their CEO maybe 12 hours ago, and they were like, oh yeah, we're really faithful, we're gonna be able to go to the major. So I hope I can talk to him after this and not have to break the bad news here. Tempest might be the ones that bring him down. We're gonna have to see, because Infamous cannot lose a game here. They will most likely, well, they won't be able to go through to tiebreakers otherwise. So we'll see. We'll take a small break, and game 2 will be shortly to see if Infamous can bring this to a game 3.